People of the world, welcome back to Send It Rising. Today's main story is Russia choosing to restrict Meta for censoring their media. This one from Reuters. They're saying they're going to censor access to Meta properties in Russia, obviously with what could be World War III on the horizon. According to the article, Moscow has been trying to exert tighter control over the internet and big tech for years, something critics say threatens individual and corporate freedom. It was not immediately clear what Russia's restrictions on Facebook would be, but they did slow down Twitter in the past. And this is such a good reminder to everyone out there that's looking to build wealth online. You need to remember that you don't own anything that you put on Facebook or Instagram. Governments can come in, they can get rid of that data. Facebook can get rid of that data. You don't really own your YouTube videos unless you hold on to the MP4s. Building your actual web assets is incredibly important. Yourname.com, yourcompany.com, etc. Quote, in accordance with the decision of the General Prosecutor's Office, starting from February 25th, partial access restrictions are being imposed by Russia on the Facebook social network. So this doesn't even bring into focus sometimes what happens with large social media companies, which is they simply go away. Sometimes, from MySpace, for example, they just disappear. You have companies like Facebook 5-10 years from now, if the stock is any indicator, it may not be here. Okay. So when it comes to their fight against all of these other countries, they're waging war everywhere. Europe is threatening to get rid of Facebook and Instagram. Russia is censoring them. They're fighting on all fronts. The war in Ukraine via TikTok, how ordinary citizens are recording Russian troops. I think we're going to see a massive change in the way wars are fought because everyone is armed with a camera. The fact that we have all of this evidence that people can look at is going to make wars more accountable, you could say. Now, my heart goes out to people caught simply taking orders, right? So I'm not here saying that soldiers, should be condemned by any stretch of the imagination. What I am saying is that people break the law in war. There are certain conventions and certain rules that go into this, and people often lie in war times. And so this sort of, there's a camera in your face, is going to change the way wars are fought in the same way that we've seen policing change in a lot of ways. The moment, someone gets pulled out of a car, they've got 7-8 cameras on them. You absolutely cannot convince me that that does not change the dynamic of that interaction. Of course it does. Now, if you've got a good cop in that sort of situation, the person says, I'm recording you. The officer says, that's good. I've been recording you on my body cam this entire time too. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm talking about the observation effect and its ability to change the way that a moment plays out. And more eyeballs, in my opinion, is better. So we're going to see how, hopefully, call me an optimist, I think we're going to see more peace. Meta showcasing a new VR building tool which facilitates customized, personalized VR environments. I watched a YouTube video of this kid who spent 100 days in VR. He was quite sad. It's not fleshed out yet. He made one friend. Are we going to spend more time in VR? No question about it. 3D environments customized to your preferences, according to socialmediatoday.com. Could be a game-changing shift for VR interactivity. The fact that people float around in VR without legs at this point reminds me of sort of Atari. We're in the Pong version of VR, but obviously it's going to expand. Meta is essentially building a VR construction process, according to the article, that won't require any coding or design knowledge. Think Minecraft, for example. My kids love Minecraft. They're constantly making things there. This is the Minecraft, the Lego equivalent, if you will. There could be a corpus of 3D objects that people can play with. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be very meta. Ready Player One is the reference I'm looking for. So forget the code. Think Minecraft. That's how, and for those of you that are unfamiliar with Minecraft, you just pick from the block you want to create and you just create whatever you want to create. It's very user-friendly. Obviously, no code is involved. YouTube adding new Shorts analytics, insights for artist channels, expanding its short-form content push. TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, now Facebook Shorts, which you can create on the app, are all the same thing. When I say they're all the same thing, I really do truly mean it. If you go from platform to platform, you will find that they are essentially the exact same format. You can create the reel. It's got time restrictions. You can add music to the background. You can add effects. It's just the same thing. And so YouTube knows that there's a massive, massive market here. TikTok has absolutely exploded this space, and so additional analytics coming from YouTube comes as no surprise. Google is well known for Alphabet is well known for their good analytics, so we'll see how that pans out. Google making offline conversion tracking easier with enhanced conversions for leads. This is definitely an in the weeds marketing article. All links to all articles we talk about on the show are right there in the description. If you haven't subscribed already, youtube.com/SendItRising, please do so. SearchEngineLand.com. Google Ads has rolled out an enhanced conversions for leads. It was a beta earlier this month, but this is how it works. User clicks on an ad and arrives on your site. The user browses your site and reads about whatever it is that you're selling. They fill in a form on your site and they become a lead for your business. Your website sends Google hashed lead information, which is an email address that you specify that gets stored in the CRM. And then when the lead converts, you upload the hashed lead information. Google matches that information back to the ad that drove the lead. And so it's a communication back and forth with Google saying, hey, of all of the leads that you generated, we know that it was a conversion, but Google doesn't know if that conversion became dollar bills. This is always the marketing quandary that we face, that I face as a digital marketer, which is, here are 20 leads. You have to tell me whether they close or not. I simply don't know. I can go through call logs. I can look at call rail. I can look at call duration, and you can tell me what closes, but that's basically it. This is a big deal because we are finally merging those two worlds, and once we know which ad is actually driving the revenue for, say, a service-based business, this is different for e-com. E-com, they come in, they buy something, we know what the dollar amount is. That's different. This is more for service-based businesses, and I'm actually going to be sending this email to my Google pay-per-click specialist. He's incredibly good. He probably knows about this anyway. Google Ads latency issues and error messages within Advertising Console. Google has confirmed that there's an issue. Over the past few hours, search marketers have been complaining about slowness, errors, and other unexpected issues within the Google Ads Advertiser Console. They posted a status update, that sort of thing. If you're unfamiliar with Google Search Console, may I take a moment to remind you that it is very important to check it out. It evolves over the years and it gives you a ton of data about how Google perceives your website. So if rankings are of any interest to you, you want to make sure that you are diving into that. Even if you are not an SEO, you are just an entrepreneur or business owner. Let's recap. Russia saying on Friday that it's going to limit access. Just a reminder, if you want to actually wealth build online, it's important to get people to your website. Give them a reason to come to your website. Social media is a good way to get them there, but you really want to focus on the fact that your website has stickiness. Your website is attractive. People go to your website for a number of reasons, as opposed to just your social media. Alternatively, be willing to jump. If Facebook shows signs of slowing down, hello TikTok. If Instagram Reels are working, great. Use their platform while they're providing you value, because ultimately everything you put on there, it's not yours. You're just giving it to them. Let's be very fair about that. I don't care what the terms of service say, because terms of service can change. I don't care what the company says now. If you don't own it, you don't own it. It's renting. It is what it is. The war in Ukraine is going to be very interesting to see how people take out their phones and change the dynamic. Social media is going to play a massive role. It already has in that. There's going to be so much evidence, and people are going to get in trouble for things that they do in the battlefield. Because, again, the winners of wars make the rules. At the end of the day, they choose who they go after and why. And if there's all this evidence stacked up from multiple videos of these errors, of these cruelties that should never have happened, well, that's completely new in human history. I mean, getting away with it is something that any toddler will teach you. If they think that they can get away with it, it changes their behavior. This is why anonymous people tend to become trolls online, because they feel as though they can get away with it. We're going to see the Minecraftification of the metaverse, which is to say we're going to be able to create a lot of things that don't require code. It's going to be quite interesting. Let your imagination play. YouTube adding new Shorts analytics because Shorts is a big deal. We've talked about just how massively popular they are. Google making offline conversion tracking easier. Very interesting. If you're a service-based business, talk to your pay-per-click provider, or if you are a Google Ads specialist yourself, make sure that you are aware of this so that you can increase the likelihood of the AI, the artificial intelligence's ability to target folks with the ads that convert at the highest rate for the highest dollar amounts. And Google Ads latency issues and error messages within Advertiser Console. A little bit in the weeds. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful time with whatever it is you're about to do next. I'm going to go enjoy the weekend. That's the show. Bye for now.